creates local jobs, and generates local profits. Would you please join me on stage?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hilde. Thank you, Klaus, for having me here today. Your Excellencies, Your Highnesses, what a great company to be in. I work as an artist. This means I'm here as a representative of the cultural sector. I think the cultural sector is quite unique as it seems to host disagreement, conflicts, without leading to exclusion. So Hilde might say, oh, this is a great painting, Olafur. And Klaus said, it destabilizes me. I'm not sure. And they can still be together, right? It might even strengthen their relationship, that little bit of rupture, right? So think about politics, right? Think about populism, nationalism, exclusion, and all of that. So culture as a methodology is amazing in terms of hosting and facilitating a conflict with a creative and positive outcome. Hilde was so kind to mention the Little Sun project, a little sculpture, a source of energy, but really also about empowerment. This is an example of how art and creativity, together with a solar scientist who is also here, actually can come up with solutions. And I'm going to show you something today. It's the first time I show it, and I thought I brought it because of the topic of the fourth revolution. This is, in fact, a mobile phone solar charger. And this is the first time we show it to anybody besides the robust Kickstart knockover we did last fall. But finally it's here. So if anybody's running out of steam here in Davos, please don't hesitate to get in touch. And again, thank you so much for the inspiring leadership. Thank you, everybody.
Somebody's taking it from you. Our next Crystal Award is will.i.am. will.i.am receives the 2016 Crystal Award for his leadership in providing educational opportunities for the underserved. He was born and grew up in Los Angeles. His professional career has many facets. He is a singer, songwriter, rapper, entrepreneur, actor, musician, record producer, and philanthropist. As a musician, he is best known for his work with the Black Eyed Peas, with whom he received 7 Grammy Awards. He has also released solo albums and has produced the work of other musicians, including Michael Jackson, U2, and Lady Gaga. He is a role model in his long-standing commitment to inspire children to stay in school and go to college to become the leaders of tomorrow. His I Am Angel Foundation has developed numerous programs for youth in Los Angeles, such as I Am STEAM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. I Am Scholarships and I Am College Track are 2 other ventures. He also has a workshop in Los Angeles, and I still remember that incredible carbon sports car he had built with his kids. He will tell us certainly more about his manifold activities. Would you please join me on stage?
First off, I want to thank the World Economic Forum, Mr. and Mrs. Klaus, thank you so much, Ms. Schwab, for acknowledging the work that we do at I Am Angel. The reason why I chose to do this work is because I want to pay forward what was given to me when I was in the ghetto in Los Angeles, California. I come from a very, very poor neighborhood that's riddled with crime and gang and drug activity, but my mom was very strict, and I was more afraid of my mom than the gangsters in my neighborhood. So music has took me around the world, and I've seen things that I wanted to bring back to my neighborhood. So every time there's a natural disaster, they call musicians or famous people to bring awareness to what's happening in the world. In ghettos that resemble the conditions that I come from, there's a natural disaster every day. There's a tsunami of neglect. There's war between gang and rival, senseless, just ignorance and crime. And I wanted to make sure that kids in the neighborhood that I come from, starting there, aim to be more than just musicians. Not that being a musician is a bad thing, it's just that our industry is collapsed. And I speak from experience that although you can make a living, it isn't as healthy as it used to be. And I want kids to dream to be like Steve Jobs, not just Stevie Wonder. I want kids to dream to be like Bill Gates. I want them to discipline and dedicate their lives to solving the world's problems. And the way you do that is by not waiting for government to come down and change education reform, because you never know how long that's going to take. So somebody has to take responsibility in their own hands and do that for communities, especially if you believe that kids that have been neglected can make something out of themselves and solve the world's problems. So I started with 60 kids, now I have 320 kids. This year is our first graduation year class. Our kids started off with the worst grades that one could imagine. It's in and out of juvenile hall and crime and selling drugs. And now our kids have 3.5s and 4.0s. This year, I'm proud to our kids will go on to MIT as a really superstar student, because you only take one, right? So one kid could change that community forever. Because my vision was, what if WhatsApp came from Watts? What if Facebook came from Compton? What if Apple came from Fifth Ward, Mississippi? These communities would be changed forever. And so my whole purpose is to find one or two kids. And I'm really proud of this girl named Cynthia, who was our star student, who was inspiring the whole community to really just pick up the ball and be leaders. So thank you so much for acknowledging the work that we're doing, and really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Our next awardee is Yeo Jen. Yeo Jen receives the 2016 Crystal Award for her leadership in raising awareness of the refugee crisis. She was born in Jishu City, Honju, Fujian Province in China. She studied Chinese folk dance at the Beijing Dance Academy, then studied at the Beijing Film Academy. She has performed extensively on stage, for television, and on film as China's leading actress. She is known as the Queen of Weibo for having the most followers on Sina Weibo, the Chinese equivalent of Twitter, where she has 78 million followers. She has used her high profile on social media to influence the public on a range of issues, from environmental pollution to food safety. She is perhaps best recognized for her role as the UNHCR's honorary patron for China, traveling extensively to meet refugees in the Philippines, Thailand, Ethiopia, Lebanon, and recently in Pakistan, contributing to an exponential growth in donations from China. I think we will hear a little bit more about those trips from her. Eugene will give her acceptance speech in Chinese. Jen, would you please join me on stage?
姚晨，是不是请你们走上主台？
感谢世界经济论坛，感谢施瓦布教授和他的夫人。感谢联合国难民署对我的信任，也感谢过去5年里陪我一同探访难民的每一位小分队成员。感谢我的先生曹宇给予我的爱和支持。获得这样的荣誉让我备受鼓舞。在过去5年的探访中，我听到一个又一个悲伤的故事，他们中有我无法想象的恐惧、绝望和痛苦。但在讲述者的眼中，我一次又一次地看见勇气、正义和希望。我常想，这些年难民给予我的力量，实际上是要大于我带给他们。1个月前在巴基斯坦的
Special thanks to my husband, Tao Yu, for your love and support. To have received such an honor is deeply
目
inspiring.
前在巴基斯坦境内，依然有150万人之多的难民。2015年，
In these past 5 years, during my visit to refugees, I've heard the stories of their
也爆
tragedies
发了
over
第
and
2战以
over.
来最大的难民危
These
机。
are for me filled with
此时此刻，或许又有一个人离开了家园，成为难民。难民的世界是黑暗的。
And the world of refugees is one of darkness. A young Somali woman, a refugee, said these words to me. My world has only 2 kinds of day, one of happiness or one of grief.
今天能够出席会议的，都是这个世界
And
上最有
you,
能量的人。
the people here in attendance are those of us who have the most positive energy of all. Each one of you is a beam of light that can scatter some darkness. Bringing these beams together can light the way to hope and future for countless number of refugees. Let's, working together, do even more for their sake. Once again, I thank you all.
Our next Crystal Award winner is Leonardo DiCaprio. He receives the 2006 Crystal Award for his leadership in tackling the climate crisis. Leonardo DiCaprio was born in Hollywood, where he also grew up, and he also spent part of his childhood in Germany. He is one of the most recognized actors in the world today. He has collected numerous awards and is widely praised for his ability to excel on screen in a wide range of film genres. He has long been a passionate advocate for environmental sustainability. In 1998, he established the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, dedicated to promoting the long-term health and well-being of all Earth's inhabitants. He has been active on a range of sustainability topics, including the protection of key species, sharks in California, tigers in Asia, elephants in Africa. He is perhaps best known for his remarkable contribution to the climate change agenda and his role as the United Nations Messenger of Peace for Climate Change. Leonardo DiCaprio, would you please join me on stage? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Klaus Schwab, Hilde Schwab, and the World Economic Forum for this generous award. Your recognition of my work for my foundation and our partners across the globe is a true honor. Last month in Paris, world leaders reached an historic agreement that provides concrete framework to reduce carbon emissions. This was an important first step, but we're a long way off from claiming victory in the fight for our future and for the survival of our planet. The Paris Agreement was a call to action, but it is now up to all of us to build this progress with ingenuity and a commitment to change. Together we are fighting to preserve our fragile climate from irreversible damage and devastation of unthinkable proportions. I've been traveling recently all over the world for a documentary about how this crisis is changing the natural balance of our planet. In Greenland and in the Arctic, I was astonished to see that ancient glaciers are rapidly disappearing well ahead of scientific models. In India, I met farmers who have seen their crops, their very livelihood, literally washed away by historic flooding. There's no doubt to the world scientific community that this is a direct result of human activity, and the effects of climate change will become astronomically